Hello, everyone. It's nice to be back here. Wonderful conference, beautiful people. I've been having people questioning one thing so far, and since I already have my office hours, I want to answer it now. This is from H&M. I know it's I don't think it's available anymore, but so it's a vintage. Today I'm gonna talk about a couple of stories. But first, I'm Alex. Nice to meet you all. 1,200 people. I run developer relations at Commerce Layer, which is a headless commerce platform. And the first story starts 1 year ago, actually. I was leaving a LeadDev, and I was at the Gatwick Airport, at the airport security, and I saw a lady collecting the tray. You know how people leave all the trays everywhere? And she was collecting other trays too. It's not too unusual. I've seen it, I've done it. I'm sure you experienced the same thing. However, there is something she said to the security guards when they say thank you that got in my head. So much that is the title of this talk. She said, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. It means that being good yourself is not enough to drive positive change. Cleaning after your own tray is not enough because there is other trays. So you have to do that plus one. You want to go beyond that point. And I thought, can I use it for my toxic environment as well? I'm going to be that guy. Since it's late afternoon, second last talk before the conference, and I'm going to make you stand, ladies and gentlemen. So please stand up, and if you cannot stand up, raise your hand if you have ever had a toxic environment at work. And then please, come on. Stick up. All right, cool. I know you'll thank me later, and also the next talk is going to thank me later. Okay, cool. I made 1,200 people standing, ladies and gentlemen. That's a good thing. Now, you can stay up only if you addressed the toxic situation. Otherwise, please sit down and be honest. Be honest. Cool. All right. Next thing, if you successfully resolve the situation, you can now sit down or lower your hand. Nice. Thank you. You can all sit down. I quickly calculated that, and that looks like a 12% of you. It's just that amount of people that actually can deal with toxic situations. And with that solution, with the solution of the problem in mind, I had another story for you. It's the bench pressure. And I'm going to present you the characters. The main character is Riley. The story is true. The names are not. Riley was a junior software engineer whom I've been mentoring for about 6 months, and after a few months on the project, they were on the bench. To understand the better context, you need to understand the players of the story. One is me. I was the mentor, and I was reporting to a boss. But there was another person. The person Riley was also reporting to. This man. We're going to call them Richard, or in short, Dick. To be fair, it was a director, so it's going to be Mr. Dick. Mr. Dick was also reporting to the same boss I was, and he went once to Riley and said, you're not being on a project for 2 weeks. If you don't find a project ASAP, you're going to go. They're going to fire you. What did Riley do? First of all, they didn't react, which is a good thing. They started looking for a job or a project within the thing and panicking, like, I don't want to go. But they escalated as well. They came to me. So they came to me to say the thing, and what did I do? I, first of all, said, it's not your job to find a project, it's mine and Mr. Dick's. The second thing is, I want to understand why Mr. Dick's is being Mr. Dick's. And the third one is, I also want to share my insights with them. So I went to Mr. Dick, and I told them how much time I personally invested in this person, as a team, as a company. For 6 months, we've been mentoring this person, so it didn't make sense to let them go. So what did he tell me is, first of all, the cost of the contract was, since they were a contractor, it was a bit costly. Okay, could get it. Then he said this sentence, they're being difficult to work with, which is upsetting me still, because what it meant is rejecting to work on projects that are completely off the skill set and the career vision of Riley. The third thing, though, is I'm happy for you to handle this situation. So, okay, cool. Be the solution, not be the problem. I'm going to clean up after the trays. So I went back to Riley, and I told them what happened. I told them how much I value them. I told them Mr. Dick's point, and also were able to find a project which was a bit of a compromise. Not tailored to their needs, but still good. And I saved them, right? No. Because Mr. Dick went to Riley and fired them anyway. Not just them, other people as well, following the same thread, not at the same time. But so that trigger, right? What did I do wrong? Back to the airport. I promised myself I wouldn't do the sound I did anyway. The lady was collecting other people's tray, was fixing other people's mistakes, thinking that is the solution. But that is not a solution, or at least it's not a sustainable solution. Why is it not? Because they keep, sometimes look up, they keep leaving trays everywhere, in every airport. And I feel exhausted after looking after all the mistakes. It's not sustainable. And again, I cannot save every tray. We need to fix the solution, make Mr. Dick start returning their trays. So how do we do it? We have another player in the story. We have the boss. So we can go to the boss and say, hey boss, you're the security guards here. You have the authority and the means to fix the solution and go to Mr. Dick. So what you should do is to assess the situation. You can inspire a feedback and self-reflection culture. And also you can be mentoring and lead by example with Mr. Dick. So that could happen, that could work. But you might have another situation. You might have a Mr. and Mrs. Dick. So what is the solution, you might ask? Well, unfortunately, there isn't a solution. However, every situation is different. So I can share my experience on how I handle different situations. In a way, how do I get the solution out of every situation? So it's not the boss, it's us. On the blue corner is me, red corner, Mr. Dick, ready to fight. But what's the problem? Anger plus anger doesn't work. When you try to go to somebody in an aggressive way, they close and they don't accept any feedback. It's no communication. You have to fight that anger with empathy. So I use something that's called non-violent communication. I don't know if how many of you have heard of it, but it's basically expressing your feelings without blaming and listening with empathy. It's made of 4 steps. You make an observation, you tell them your feelings, your needs, and you make a clear request. It works like this in a sentence. It's like, when you did this, I felt this way because I have this need. Could you please do that? So if you go back, even though my first instinct would be to say to Mr. Dick that we're an asshole, we have to drop the gloves and start communicating in a non-violent communication way, which is something like, dear Mr. Dick, when you decided to fire the developer, even though I expressed my concerns, I felt frustrated and undervalued. Because I need my input to be, respected when you do your decision making. Could you please listen seriously to what I say next time? Now, the interesting thing is that you don't have to do this by yourself. You need all the players to do it, including the Mr. Dick. And these will trigger a communication along all the people that would actually help getting into each other's feelings and therefore possibly resolving the situation. Obviously, it might not work. You might be in a situation where you're surrounded by dicks. And that happened to me. And you know what? There is another solution. And it's a completely valid solution, even if people don't really like it. That's quitting. Why is quitting a valid solution? It inspires collective action. You have other people leaving a toxic environment to the point that triggers an organizational reflection. And even, never remember this one, encourages accountability. And also, this one either promotes talent reflection actions as well. I have a little epilogue for you, and I have a little dream I'm going to share with you. I always wanted to leave as if I had the commentary of an audience from a sitcom. So I would love if you could react to what I'm going to say as if we were in an audience in a sitcom. You ready? Little cool? I'm no longer working at that company. I'm working in a wonderful company, Commerce Layer. Mr. Dick had a promotion. But Riley found an amazing, good job, and I'm still friends with them. Thank you so much for your time. It was a big pleasure to be here, and I'll see you later for drinks.